here we go. Okay. So, Mom, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. You ready?
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Tell me a bit about your parents. How did they meet? And what brought them to the place where you were born?
They met in Portland, so they didn't get brought to a different place. But my mother was working in the Weyerhaeuser Company office as a secretary, and Dad had to go in there with reports and things like that from time to time, and that's how they met.
So tell me again what his position was. What did he do?
Oh, he's a logging engineer or forestry engineer, whatever you want to call it, graduate from Oregon State, and he had worked for the Forest Service, and that was being in logging camps, and he wanted to get out of that. So then he was he represented the IRS in investigating the land and the equipment and the whole thing of different forestry companies like Weyerhaeuser Timber and probably some of the others. I can't think of them offhand.
Okay.
So he represented a lot of them. He used to go to Washington, D.C. once a year for 6 weeks,
Wow.
giving all the information and being questioned and stuff like that, I guess.
He had some, didn't he have some interaction with Native Americans?
With what?
Native Americans?
No, his father did.
Oh, his
father was a
father
doctor,
did.
and he worked with a lot of, or was a doctor too, a lot of Native Americans.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was his father that accumulated all that.
But I thought his father was in the East, no?
His father, he must have been stationed in the West at some point. Not far west, but, like Montana or someplace like that. I'm not sure where all he lived, but he was in the Army reserves or whatever.
Okay, all
And
right.
So he probably was moved around some.
Okay.
He was in Fort Knox, I think it's Fort Knox, Kentucky, when my dad was born.
Oh.
But my dad was a caboose baby because he was 10 years younger than the next one up and 12 years younger than the oldest one.
Okay.
So
Okay. Next question. What did you most like about your dad?
his sense of humor was fabulous. And I just admired all the things he knew about the outdoors and the trees, and he could lead us on hikes through woods with no trails, knowing that we were going to get to a little lake because he had all these maps that had the stuff on them that you wouldn't find on an ordinary map.
So you
we
liked the
felt
sense of adventure.
Oh, we felt like we were discovering these little lakes. It was kind of neat.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
So when you
And
say
he was
is
very highly respected in his job, and the men that worked with him liked him a lot. And he went hunting with some of them, deer hunting once a year.
So you said his sense of humor. What kind of sense of humor did he have?
Oh, he liked to tease. His sense of humor even came through in his letters after I had moved out east. He just was always fun and very, very loving and very hugging.
Oh, physical. Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat. Was he affirming? I know it's not a very open-ended question.
Probably just in the way he treated you, but not in words. Neither
Okay.
one of my parents did much in words for saying I love you or
Okay.
gee, I'm so proud of you or anything like that.
Okay. I'm getting to your mom now. How about your mom?
Well, she had admitted that she was incredibly shy in school, and she was invited out to a date a couple of times, and she was so shy she even said no.
Okay, I'm sorry. What did you most like about your mom?
Oh, well, you didn't ask that.
I know. I was saying let's move on to your mom. So
Well, her
I know.
nurturing, the fact that she worked so hard. I was a tall, skinny kid that no clothes in the stores fit at all, and she'd take me to different department stores, and the clerks would bring in different things for me to try on, and my mom would be looking at how the seam was and what type of style would maybe look well on me, and then she sewed my clothes, and I really appreciated all that effort that she put forth.
Did it seem that she enjoyed doing that?
I think she did, because she took a tailoring course and she made me a suit,
Wow.
but she didn't consult me about what color I might like, and she made it in a chocolate brown, which is not my color to wear. In my book, it isn't.
Did she also make things for Janet?
Not that much. She didn't need to
Okay.
so much,
Okay. So I guess that leads into my next question. You touched upon this a little bit, but what were each of your parents' shortcomings? do you think?
My mom's being nervous about everything and getting easily upset and being serious.
Mm.
And I think she remained quite shy as an adult even, really. Because I know I can think of 2 really good friends that she was in touch with. And then she belonged to a bridge club and they got together, 8 of them got together. I don't know how often actually. But
Now, you said what you loved about your dad was a sense of humor, but you said your mom, her shortcoming was her seriousness. Did she like his sense of humor? Did she respond to his sense
probably,
of
but
humor?
I don't remember her laughing a lot or anything.
Huh.
Nothing like this kid here.
All right. And what about your dad? What were his shortcomings?
The fact that he drank a couple of stiff drinks when he got home from work, and then he was a crank at the table and picked on me. And I don't, I blocked that out of my memory. I don't remember him picking on me over and over and over again. But it upset Janet so much that she would try to speak back or something, speak up for me. I don't know, but she would end up going upstairs crying. And my mom said she was pouting, so Mom never went up to talk to her about it or anything.
But what did your
But she
mom
would-
do when your dad would pick on you?
Nothing as far as, I don't remember.
Oh.
You know,
But as far as you know,
She
nothing.
didn't,
Yeah.
try to argue with him or stand up for me, to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But I just kind of stuck it out at the table.
It's interesting that he would pick on you, but he didn't really do that with Janet?
Janet was like his boy.
Ah.
She trailed him. He was often working in the garage, fixing things, making things.
Okay.
And so she learned a lot about all that kind of stuff. And
Okay.
She was interested in that, so she trailed him. So she was like his little boy.
Ah.
The boy he never had, which he should have had before me, 'cause
Right.
they
Tell
did have-
tell us about that.
Well, my mother was pregnant with the boy, Billy, who would have been my older brother by 2 or 3 years. Excuse me. And she had a miscarriage, or lost a baby. I shouldn't say miscarriage. He was born alive. But whether he lived a few hours or a couple of days, I'm not sure. But he was born extra early, like maybe 6 months or
So
something.
premature.
And she tended to blame herself. I found out way later. She didn't talk to me about it though, but she thought it was because she was doing some painting and maybe the lead base in the paint. She just
Wow.
felt like maybe something she did caused that to happen. So she tended to blame herself.
Don't you wonder if even that tragedy happening made her even more nervous than she had originally been, or anxious?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know,
Yeah.
but
And she had eczema really badly, horribly badly on her hands some of the time, I remember. It was turned like leather and she'd be cutting off pieces of skin. And,
oh.
ugh, it was pretty awful.
What made you think of that? What made you bring that up?
Just her nervousness. I mean, I think
Oh.
she had some allergies in different ways than me.
Uh-huh.
Now, on the other hand, I had asthma so badly when I was a baby and a toddler that I would wake up Mom every night in the middle of the night because I'd be all blue.
Oh!
And then she had to take me to the doctor's home to get an adrenaline shot. And he
Oh!
got tired of
I
being,
could see why she was nervous. She lost one child and then you're a blue baby.
and then the doctor got tired of being awakened in the middle of the night, so he taught her how to give me the adrenaline shot.
Oh
and
my gosh.
she was able to keep adrenaline in the refrigerator. I don't know how long that went on, but long enough that
Unbelievable.
it bothered him. He didn't like being awake in the middle of the night. I don't blame him.
Wow, yeah, really. Okay, now we're going to switch to relatives. What role did relatives play in your life? How often did you get together, and what was it like?
As far as getting together in any large group with a lot of cousins on my mother's side, which would be Alice and her 2 brothers, and Norma, Larry,
What were Alice's 2 brothers' names?
Patrick was the kid brother and Teddy was the older brother.
Okay.
But as far as getting together with all of those people, that would have, on my mother's side like that would have been only at Christmas time.
Mm.
And then we used to see our cousins, Larry and Norma and Peter and Susie. We'd see them a few more times because they were only about 15, 20 blocks away from us.
Okay.
So we saw them a little more often. My grandmother, Nana, had, after she was, or maybe even before she was widowed, she had Aunt Lucille and her husband, Uncle Norman, and the kids living with her because Uncle Norman lost his job after the Depression,
Oh.
and they just needed to be able to move in and share the expense of living there. So, yeah, so my grandfather would have still been there for part of that time. Anyway, Nana would live at our house for 2 or 3 weeks every so often, and it probably gave them a break, and it certainly was a gift for us. She darned all of the socks for Mom, and probably did a few other things to help. And she played games with Janet and me quite a lot, which
So
we
wait.
really treasured.
So Norman
Uncle Norman.
and that family lived there, but she would leave them and come to your house and stay for a while? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Oh.
And it gave them a break because they didn't need to have her there.
Okay.
You know. But it was more that was helping Mom.
Right. Okay. That's
So
neat.
what became the den in our house in later years was the bedroom for her. It was on the main floor.
Okay.
And one time a burglar tried to break into the window in that bedroom, and she must have heard him and said something and scared him away.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's scary.
yeah.
So, how would you describe your relationship with your grandmother? Since you would see her
It
at
was
stretches.
a warm, loving, very loving relationship.
That's neat.
And she played all those board games, Sorry, Monopoly,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things, Chinese checkers. And she taught us how to play solitaire. There's one method of solitaire, which is one of many. But, you know, she just was there for us.
That's neat.
And my mother had gone back to work somewhat. Probably not so much when my grandmother was there, but maybe some of it. Or when I was a teenager, maybe.
Okay. How
Just
were
to
their
help- To
relationship?
help put us through college.
Oh,
It seemed to
okay.
be good, as far as I know it was. I don't remember my mother complaining about Nana. But I do remember this, and I don't know who told me this, but Mom, sometime early in their marriage, maybe before they had any kids, complained about my dad a little bit to her mom, Nana.
Uh-huh.
And Nana said, you made the bed, or wait a minute, you made the bed, now you have to stay with it or get in
Sleep in it or get in it or
Get in it.
make it.
or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember
One of
the-
those
I
expressions.
can't remember the expression. But you know what I mean.
Yes.
You did it. You
Yeah.
did it. Deal with
Well,
it.
that's good.
She put her in her place. And my mom and Aunt Lucille, when they were both young and single, they were quite adventuresome. And they took a road trip.
Yes,
with
we
this
have that documented.
Old little antique car.
That's really cool.
I mean, it looks like an antique. Maybe it wasn't then, but they drove all down the coastline, all the way, well, to the end of to the southern part of Oregon at least. Maybe they went. They probably went into California too, somewhat. And they camped the whole time.
Yeah.
They were real outdoorsy, so
Yeah.
that part was really good. Mom and Dad both really loving the outdoors. And Mom,
Yeah, that's something I didn't ask you yet. How would you describe the relationship your parents had with each other?
it seemed good. I always knew they loved each other,
That's neat.
and it's such a security to have that,
Yes.
because you just know.
And they both appreciate the outdoors, like you
And
said.
they love the outdoors. And my mother, speaking about the outdoors, she wore pedal pushers when we were camping. I call them pedal
Yeah.
pushers. I know you don't.
Crops, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I never ever saw her in any slacks or pedal pushers or anything like that the rest of the year.
Wow.
In fact, she would take a bath in the early afternoon, probably before we got home from school. She'd put nylons and a girdle on and be in a dress or a skirt and blouse or whatever for when Dad got home.
Wow.
And fairly early in our marriage, I had just had Marion, and I hadn't had you yet, I think. When we were in the apartment in Madison, New Jersey, I decided that maybe I should start doing that, not putting the nylons and girdle on, but that maybe I should put a dress on or a skirt on when Dad was going to be coming home for dinner.
Wow.
I did that for all of 5, 6, 7 days or something, and Dad said, "You don't need to do that. That's silly."
Well, that's good, I think, for you. It's nice he noticed, though, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay, what were some of your fondest memories in your early childhood? And then we'll go on to adolescent years and college years. But let's start with early childhood. What were some of your fondest memories?
Oh, just the neighborhood gang, the kids. It was a long block, just like what you grew up with in New Jersey.
Right. Now tell me the address again.
And 20, no, wait a minute, 3212 Northeast 28th Avenue.
Okay.
Actually, it was several long blocks, but it ended at the T at where the school is, where
Uh-huh.
the grade school is. But it was fun to be able to hear the first bell that we knew we had 5 minutes and we'd go dashing up and get to school in time. And it was kind of neat to live that close that you could do that. And we came home for lunch because it was so close.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea what percentage of the kids went home for lunch, but we'd have really good leftover stuff from dinner, like Spanish rice was one of Mom's steady things. I know
Uh-huh.
I always liked that.
But you were saying the block and the kids in the block.
And yeah, that's right. I got off. See, I
That's
get
okay.
off track
That's
very
all right.
good.
But what did you do with those kids? It was so much fun. What were some of your favorite?
Kick the can was one
Uh-huh.
of the really fun things. And I remember hiding one time, and that I must have had a really good hiding place because they finally gave up. And I had to finally wander out from my hiding place to join the gang, but they didn't find me.
All right.
But when they would find somebody, if that person ran in and kicked the can, then they'd have to go hide.
That's right. Then everyone got free.
That
Yeah.
was a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Any other fond memories of your
and
early
we'd sit
childhood?
one time, a whole bunch of us, and I might have done it more than once, we were out playing, whatever, and we decided we all wanted to eat an orange. So we all went in our each respective homes and
Uh-huh.
got an orange, went out and sat on the curb and ate oranges on both sides of the street.
That's
It's kind of
great.
weird.
It's funny that you would remember that too.
Well, it was unusual.
So how about your adolescent years? Do you have some fond memories of your adolescent years?
Lots of miscellaneous little things. Oh, I should tell you this funny story from pre-adolescence. Harriet and I occasionally slept outdoors in her, was a little arbor area with a cover.
Okay.
And one time her cat nestled in between us, started having her kittens.
Oh my gosh, I never heard this
And
story.
this was real early in the morning, and Harriet said, we have to be real quiet, we can't move, because she's finished having her kittens.
Oh my gosh. That must have been torture for you. Wow.
And I used to climb their cherry trees and get all the cherries way at the top that nobody else ever got.
Wow. Tell
I
the
love
story.
to climb trees.
Tell the story about you two talking to each other outside your windows and you talked Janet into something.
Oh boy, yeah. Janet might have been about 7, so that would have made me almost about 10. And whenever I would go to bed, I would lie there awake and sing one song after another. And then Harriet often would hear me because my window would be up.
Aww.
And then she'd come to the window and start singing with me. So
Aw,
I'd hear her singing
that's
with me,
so
and then we'd both
neat.
go to the window and talk.
That's so cute.
And then this one Sunday morning, we were both at the window talking, and Janet got up and she came into my room, and so she was there with us. And I believe it was a Sunday morning. It was a weekend.
Yeah.
It must have been a Sunday morning because Dad was still in bed and everything, Dad and Mom. And so we were discussing being able to jump out of the window. Well, Harriet couldn't be the one because she would land on the cement. That would be too
Oh,
firm.
yeah.
We had grass under us.
Okay.
And I wasn't the logical one because I was much bigger than Janet and I would land harder.
Oh.
So she was the one that should climb out and be able to jump down.
For what purpose?
And why we
Yeah.
didn't even have a purpose that I remember. So she climbed out and she's hanging there by her fingertips when Harriet's older sister saw her in the window and said, Dad, Dad, look. And her father was in their breakfast nook, so he could see Janet. So he came running out, and then he got in position and he said, okay, now you can let go, jump, and he caught her.
Unbelievable. And then didn't he
I know.
take her to the front of the house and ring the bell or something? Or?
Yeah.
Did anybody get in trouble?
I don't think, we probably got a disciplined talk of some kind, but not, in trouble otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Not grounded or anything like that.
Okay, any other early childhood memories that were fond memories? Then we can move on to adolescence.
I played a lot of tennis